Let's talk about colorectal cancer. Screening for colorectal cancer is so important because it's the third most common cancer in men and can be easily identified with the presence of polyps. Polyps are common in individuals 50 years or older, with a higher incidence in older age groups and higher in men compared to women. So more men get polyps than women for whatever reason. Unfortunately, 10% of these polyps can or will potentially grow into an invasive cancer if left undetected. So don't take the risk. You need to get screened and stay ahead of the game because it's really easy to get those polyps out of there. Many early symptoms of colon cancer in men are overlooked as common digestive issues. And here are some of the common symptoms that are overlooked. When men are losing weight without trying to, they're just like, I'm losing weight, not paying attention. They're getting weaker or fatigued more often and don't understand why, but just like, I'm tired here lately. Maybe I have anemia. They just call it anything. Feeling the need to have a bowel movement, but not being able to, or not feeling relieved after you have a bowel movement. Changes in your bowel habits, including frequent diarrhea or constipation, or narrow stools, bright red blood on your stool. Dark brown or black tarry stools is a sign of blood in the stool. Cramping or belly pain, and then regular bloating. Men generally just overlook stuff and won't go get help for whatever reason. If you have any of these symptoms, please don't wait to seek medical attention. Prevention is better than cure, and early detection saves lives. I've been doing, and I say this all the time, annual wellness assessment. So it just means I say it all the time because I want you to know that I talk to a lot of people about their health status, right? And their health history. And I've spoken to a lot of men 65 and older who had polyps removed in their 50s. They went and had their colonoscopy, and the gastroenterologist identified a polyp in their colon, and they just go in and take the polyp out and get rid of it, and it's done, and they don't have any more problems. Like 5, 10, 15 years later, they'll say, I had polyps removed. I had 2 polyps removed like 10 years ago. No colon cancer, they're fine. I had, a polyp removed like 15 years ago. No problems whatsoever. It's when you don't go check, when you don't get your colonoscopy, when you don't get your screening. Screening for colorectal cancer should begin at the age of 50. But if you have a family history of colorectal cancer, you should be screened much earlier, like 40 years old. And if you're having any of the symptoms, it doesn't matter what your age is, you need to go get screened. The most common screening methods are fecal occult blood test. So a fecal occult blood test is that little card that they give you, send you home. You're supposed to take a stool sample, put it on the card, and you just mail it back to the lab. And what they're checking for is microscopic blood, right? Microscopic blood is a sign that something is wrong. Maybe you have a polyp in there and it's bleeding. A fecal occult blood test has to be done annually. That's once a year. So, and it's simple. It's simple, but it's kind of annoying because it has to be done every single year. The other test is the Cologuard. About 2020, I learned about the Cologuard. A sales rep came in and gave us an in-service on Cologuard. I absolutely love Cologuard. Cologuard is the same. You get a little hat to put over the toilet. You have a stool, and then you take the stool, you take a sample of the stool, and you send it in. Well, the difference between the Cologuard and the fecal occult blood test is the Cologuard is not only checking for microscopic blood, the Cologuard is checking for DNA, cancerous DNA. So every time you have a stool, if you have cancer in there or if you have a polyp in there, then some of the DNA off of that polyp passed through in the stool into the toilet. So the Cologuard is checking for DNA, cancerous DNA, or in microscopic blood. The Cologuard, the other great thing about the Cologuard is it has to be done every 3 years as opposed to every year. So you do this every 3 years. Um, the Cologuard is for people 45 years of age and older who are or who have average risk for colon cancer. But again, if you have a family history, remember you need to screen earlier. The Cologuard is not a replacement for the colonoscopy in high-risk individuals. The colonoscopy, though, is the gold standard. The colonoscopy is where they give you medication to get you very relaxed. A camera is inserted in the rectum and it's looking in the inner lining of the colon in the rectum to identify any polyps. If polyps are identified, the GI specialist removes them, like I told you earlier. I am so serious when I tell you there have been men upon men that have had polyps removed 5, 10, 15 years later, no polyps. The colonoscopy is performed every 10 years. The colonoscopy is it's the gold standard. That's just what it is. So get screened, practice wellness. This video is compliments of the information was taken from the American Cancer Society. Cologuard was taken from the Cologuard website, and then information that I have from being in service, educated on the Cologuard 3 years ago. Again, I'm Shamika, your chronic care management nurse practitioner, and please have a great day. Get screened. Peace.